Hey, Miss Marion here. Let's talk about outliers, gaps, and clusters for scatter plots. And so make sure you have a note page and we'll kind of go over all these definitions. So an outlier is usually a plot or something, so a point or something that lies outside the main body or we can say like main points or group. So it's kind of out there by itself. That's why it's called an outlier. A cluster is a group, and I'm going to actually put in there a smaller group of similar data. So it kind of makes a smaller group within that scatter plot itself. And then gaps is an area where there is no data. All right, and again, this is for a scatter plot. So we're looking at a scatter plot. There's no information, there's no points, there's nothing going on. That is what is considered a gap. All right, so let's go ahead and look at example number 1. And it says find the area of the clusters, outliers, and gaps. So first of all, let's talk about the clusters. Where are they kind of grouped together in smaller groups? So notice I have this group, and then notice how all of this is also together as a group. So for the first one, I'm going to say between 20, like size, and 30 size. So if we look at the TV size, is between 20 and about 35. And then the second one is between 40 and 65. Outliers, is there anybody out there kind of by itself? This is an example of it, but not a great example. It's kind of like a little bit harder to see. But notice how this guy right here, he's kind of not with everyone else. He's not with the association. He's not with the trend. He's kind of sitting there in a way by himself. So I'm going to say, okay, what is that point? I'm going to say 65, 2500. And then are there any gaps? Notice how there is nothing like in this area here, right? And so I'm going to say between 30 and 40, like TV size of 30 and TV size of 40. So these are the clusters, the outliers, and the gaps for example number 1. All right, so let's look at example number 2. So again, we're looking for clusters. So where is a cluster of information? Well, notice how pretty much we have like a cluster of like this group going all the way up to kind of this group. So notice how there's still like everything's kind of grouped together in a way. So I'm going to say between 11 and 14. Now, if we want to get really, really, really technical, we could kind of see those smaller groups of different clusters. That's fine. I'm not going to go really technical on this right now. Just more of all of this stuff is actually grouped together. Is there an outlier? Is there somebody kind of sitting by himself, not with the trend, not going with the trend? We can say that, hey, this guy way up here is kind of sitting by himself. And then it could we also say that this guy is by himself and then also this guy, right? These are kind of outliers. This guy down here, because he's kind of following this line, he's not an outlier per se because he's really, really close to that line, but the other two are. And so if we want to look at this, well, we can say like maybe 12.75, comma 21, right? And then we're going to look at, so that was the pink one. And then we're going to look at this guy up here. That one is about 13, comma 24.5. So these two are outliers because they're not by the line that goes along with this scatter plot. They're not by the other points really close to them. That's why it's considered an outlier. And then is there a gap? Well, I do agree that there is a gap. Notice how there's kind of a gap between here and here, right? So where's our gap? Well, it's between 10 and 11 as far as the ankle diameter. So again, notice how we have clusters, they're grouped together, outliers, they're by themselves, and then gaps, there's no data that's there whatsoever. So for today as far as homework, there is an activity in Canvas. It's Unit 6, Lesson 6, Activity 4. There is a piece of paper that goes along with it, but you can also do this in Canvas. You're looking at association. So positive association, negative association, no association, and also seeing if something is linear or non-linear. So make sure you go ahead and do that Canvas assignment. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.